It's like a battery charging my heart right now. And oh, you left all the things you had, but not just found. And I know you had to go, but left me not to know. Like a snake's tongue is stung, but I had to show your battery.
And I never forget, he blew the final whistle and I just sprinted to the pair of them and I died and I got quite emotional.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get over what the fuck had just happened. And the guy, he was like, I don't know, like a blogger kind of thing, and he gave me an interview after the game and he was asking how does it feel, and I said, it's amazing, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I ended the interview and I said, listen fella, I gotta go. I'm gonna fucking bend it on me. And we goes in the changing rooms and I just remember sitting there as a photo of me and Lewis, we had the medals, and I was just sitting there and I was just looking at the boys and I was just thinking, do you know you lot, you will never take us in. You'll never take us in until you're finished.
Yeah.
And
you'll look back.
And I'm only doing it now because of the age I am.
Yeah.
And
I've just done it with you tonight.
Yeah.
You know, I rarely think about that night we won the Welsh League Cup because it's so long ago.
That's a memory that no one will ever take out of you.
But you triggered a couple of things and it comes back, and I can still see all the little moments I remember from that night. They're just back like that straight away. You know?
And it was great, and we was in the changing rooms and it was awesome. And so like we were in the bar and everyone's congratulations. My phone's going fucking bananas, and I had an emotional phone call with my dad, and I was like, I fucking done it. You know, we were in the Cymru South, and so we all get on the bus and shop down the road and get some cans, and you know, 5 hours to Leeds now, right? And this is like 10:30, and we're thinking, fuck me. We're on the bus, the boys are there, music, you know the score, right? It's like boom, 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 right? And we were driving up these fucking motorways through the Midlands and whatever, and there's no one on the road, and I was in the seat behind Pixie driving, I'm lying there, and I had medal around my neck, and I'm just thinking, wow,
what a nice day.
And what it did for me, and there's a great photo, we got to Leeds Bradford Airport, we checks in, we're on a family flight, Jet 2 flight, checks in, and then we get to the bar, and there's a bar overlooking the runway, so Clemo buys a round, we all sits down, 7 senior players, chairman, manager. We has a pint. The sun is just coming up over the runway, and we looked at each other and thought, "Fucking hell, we've done it, right?" And it was great. And we get another funny story. We get on the plane, goes to Benidorm. So I'm sitting next to Carl. It's me, Carl, Kieran Miller. So busting for a piss. So he gets up. So Pixie now. So Lewis had managed to get a couple of us together. But Pixie's sitting, chairman, in the front seat, right, by the toilets. So it's like, well, it takes off 10 past 6. It's like 7:30 in the morning now, 33,000 feet. I'm going for a piss. I'm standing there queuing now. So he leans on the seat. He says, "Hi, Pix, what's happening?" He looks at me and he says, I can't believe it. He starts crying. I said, "You what?" He said, "I can't believe it." He said, "We're in the Cymru South." And Clemo's resigned. I said, "You what?" He said, "No, he's finished. He told us in the January," he said. "He's finishing. He can't do it anymore. He can't hack it. He's got his own, Carl's got his own business, right?" And whatever. And he's done. He said, I am got a manager." I said, I'd been up now, right, since 8 o'clock Friday morning, right? This is 8 o'clock Saturday morning, I've had no sleep. I said, "Pix, me feel." I said, "Shut the fuck up." Go to the toilet, has a piss. I'm walking back up the plane, and you know the score, right? You're walking up the plane, right? I sit next to Carl. I said, "What the fuck have you done?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Pixie's crying down there. Reckons you finished." "I have." I said, "You what?" I said, "Well, I'm told none of us." "No, I told him in the January," he said, I'm finished after the season." I said, "Carl," I said, "we just got promoted to Cymru South, and you were resigning." I said, "Don't start. We haven't even got to Benidorm yet." So he gets there and whatever, he changed his mind, and the rest is history. And
do you know what? This is freaky.
That was the best tour I've ever been on.
The parallels are unreal. I was going to Dennis Powys, and we won the cup, and it was during the trip to Magaluf, and I was sat there with some of the senior players, and I've gone, "I don't want to go. I'm staying."
Yeah.
But I was going. Yeah. So if we'd lost that night, I'd have been gone.
I said to the boys, and I was talking to Luke about it yesterday, and do you know, I honestly don't think I would have got on that bus if we'd have lost that playoff final.
And the difference there as well,
I couldn't have gone.
All those things you've said there, that everything's against, so the FAW not changing, everything's against you.
100%.
Has made that more emotional when you've spoken to your dad, when you've gone 100%. On a trip, the fact of getting on the bus.
I don't understand how any football organisation can give you 48 hours notice to play a cup final. I'll never understand that.
No. The bit I loved the most in your story there was that you're trying to get an indication before Kyrie play Garden Village. You know, I don't know. We can't tell you anything. Well, I don't know which is worse: the fact that they haven't spoken about it until they know there's a playoff to arrange, or that they are having these conversations because they're organising it, but they won't tell you. Why
Something
not
similar
tell you?
happened with Anishir and
I don't understand why
Chepstow this year. They wouldn't confirm a date. I don't know why or whatever. But we were up against it all. But that weekend, and I speak about it all the time with the boys, it's the best weekend I've ever had in my entire life. You know, we woke up at 8, 9 o'clock on a Friday morning. I got into bed at 4 o'clock Sunday morning. Never touched drugs in my life. I was just riding a fucking wave of just fresh air, of just... It was something that money can never buy.
So what were the nights out like when you got over there?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Never.
Do you want to tell him the parallel? It's going to come up in this podcast at some point. Do you want to tell your version of the story of what you did?
What have you done?
Oh, mate, it's class. Are we going there, are we?
He thinks this is a class story, right? I'm hoping when people listen to this story, they'll agree with me that he's an absolute shitbag of a man.
So, we went to Magaluf.
Yeah.
We'd raised a load of money between the team for the trip.
Hang on, details important. Who had raised all the money?
Me and Ryan Fahy.
Who had raised all the money?
Me and Ryan Fahy.
Ryan Fahy.
Anyway.
The captain, right?
So when we was
Ryan Fahy,
I done the same. So I collected also. So once you go on tour, you've got to have a good kit.
Yeah.
For the day drink.
Let me tell you Rod's involvement in raising the money. He counted it when Ryan Fahy had raised it all, right?
Still got involvement.
Yeah.
Involvement.
It's a great involvement.
I'm on the kit. I'm on
More
the
involved than he was.
Exactly. So we had money. We'd gone out there, and long story short, I have spent a lot in one night. You know, Magaluf, BCM Square.
I've never been to Magaluf.
Coyote Ugly.
Okay.
Girl with a tray full of shots.
Ugly looking girl.
Yeah. Right. And one of the boys called her over and said, "How much for all of those?" Right.
As you do.
And she said, "Well, if I sell all this, I'm done for the night."
Yeah.
So Donald Trump went, "I'll have all them, love. Come sit with us."
Yeah.
Spent all the money in one night.
Yeah.
Gareth and a couple of the boys had gone off for a Chinese.
Hang on, details important.
Before the days
Gareth,
of mobile
the
phones.
first team manager. No, we had phones, just none of you answered it.
Mozza.
Mark Monnis, club captain.
Yeah.
Ryan Fahy, club vice captain, who raised all the money, remember. And Zach Osborne, you probably remember him, he went on to be a very good striker, but he was a young striker at the time. The four of us have gone off for a Chinese, come back and they're all gone.
We've gone. Spent the money, didn't see them all night. Best part.
We couldn't find them. We spent 4 hours looking for them.
Khaki shorts on. I'm sharing a room with him. Yeah. So you can imagine the abuse I've taken. Wake up the next morning and as he's ranting at me and go, want a shot?
Right? So 4 hours into the night, we've given up now and we're just
spent
having our own night. And a couple of the lads make it up onto the strip away from the square. And they're going, "You want to get down there?" Rodri's spending the entire kitty. They've got, right, you know, like the little shot bottles.
Yeah, in pockets.
They've got like 4 or 5 each in their pocket, right? They're €5 a pop. 12 years ago, 15 years ago, right?
No.
But anyway, so I've heard all of this. We're fuming, right? The next day, 6 of them, shitbags who were involved in this, right, didn't even come out. When we went out for the night, we found them in a sweet shop.
I was in a sweet shop.
Next to the hotel.
Doritos, sweets, sat on the balcony, just couldn't go out.
You think that's bad? Guess where I found him the following day? In reception, looking up flights home.
Yeah.
Well, that bad.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
2 nights, done, finished.
So anyway, on the last night is the first night again that we're all together again. We go into the square. Fuck me. It's like I've walked into that square with David Beckham.
Yeah. Wow, you know.
The waitresses are on him because the story he's given them that night, right, is. Oh yeah, well what it is, I'm the chairman of the club and the boys won the cup, so I'm treating him. I'm treating him. That's the story he's given.
Great night, mate.
It's a great night, but our schoolboy. So when the 2 years we went to Benidorm back to back, I was always in charge of the kitty. Now the kit, you've got to use your head. The kitty's for day drinking. So when we were like in these apartments and we buy the pool, right?
Exactly.
There was like I don't know, say it's like 20 of us. A bottle of Estrella, was it €150, whatever.
Yeah.
That's where you use your kitty. So we were there, and they can't get enough of you. And you're like, yo, what we have? Can we have 18 Estrella and 2 ciders or whatever?
Yeah.
Great, passing it. And then when you come up from the pool, then in the day, kitty goes in the safe.
Yeah.
Because you use that kitty for the €150. you're not using that for fucking €8 double vodka and thing. And that's where it goes.
Yeah.
Schoolboy.
Young schoolboy era. Great night though.
I can't remember the summer money, but we were there for 4 nights and we had enough. When we went there, it was something like 300, back then, about 300, might have been €400 a night. Gone in one night.
It was €1,500.
Donald Trump here in one night.
Well, we had spent a little
Terrible
bit.
bloke.
We did spend some of it in the day on cans of Foster's down on the beach.
Oh yeah, they were about 20 pence.
The rest we went in the night.
No. We lasted hours, and I remember the last night we were in some fucking bar, and, you know, there was sex on the beach, cocktails. We were just blowing the kitty in the end then to get rid of it. Like, but that was the best tour fucking I've ever been on ever. Like my mate Kieran Miller. He fucking bust his hand. We was outside. You could just see it coming. Like we were all riding a crest of waves. The playoff final on a Saturday. Champions League playoff final and Champions League in the night. So we're all there now, and you're going to go this punch machine, just fucking 30 degrees. We're all sitting there swigging, round over here, bottles everywhere. So a couple of them are all around this thing. Now, if you're hitting this straight on, fair enough. But when there's 5 or 6 of you round there and you're punching it from a different angle, it's going to end in tears. Right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Kieran's hit this fucking thing, right, side on, honest to God, and as he's hit it, the pool table was flipped on his side. He's hit it, he's caught the table, right? Honest to God, I'll show you a photo. He's sitting there, his knuckles down here, right? He's sitting at the end of the bar. He's holding his hand together, right? And it was just black blood everywhere. I'm thinking, fuck, you know. But boys on tour and
yeah. I got a couple of questions on that story you just told us, right? And they're all around the same person. Did Jordan go on tour?
No, he wasn't allowed out the tour.
That's why I was asking.
So he played that final. I think he went back in a car with somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
And just vaguely, like, you know, we had a very brief chat, but we've had a chat about it before because I just think he's such a top striker. You know, as our mate Dom Dwyer, he always just raves about him as one of the toughest challenges he's ever had playing against him. What's that like playing with George?
Hard work.
Yeah. Because what he can give you on a football pitch is tremendous.
It gets frustrating to an extent because one of technical abilities, he's probably one of the best players I think I've ever played with him in my life. Yeah. The boy has got it all. Yeah. But he lets himself down on times. Right. And I remember the first year I signed the Baglan in the Amateur League, and it was 5 times he didn't turn up. And we'd be sitting on a bus in the car park, and Clem was just like, "Fuck him, we're going." And I said, "Hang on now. You can't go. We've got a great squad. You can't go because who's going to score the goals?" Yeah. And Carl's like, "Fuck him. No one's bigger than the club and whatever." And he goes through fits and stuff or whatever. And he turned himself around. And I used to think at first, just bin this guy off like he's a fucking idiot. And then when you get to know him, he's got heart of gold. He'd do anything for anybody. He is quite misunderstood. He doesn't help himself. He never has, and he probably never fucking will. And he doesn't listen. But I know natural ability. The boy is phenomenal. And sorry, but I forget his name. The manager of Risca in the cup final was the manager of Cymru and Celtic last year in the infamous game. Simon? Who is not good with names.
No, I'm not. To be honest, I'm not great with Gwent anymore.
He's had a couple of nightmares with Jordan. Hell of a nice bloke. I get on well with him. I'm just not good with names. And then obviously he was the manager with the infamous Cymru and Celtic game, which I will say that game, you know, South Wales Police handled themselves so wrong. He was wrongly arrested. He didn't do anything wrong. He was cleared within hours. Clemo sent me a picture at 6:30 in the morning, and he's sitting at the dining table in Clemo's house having a cup of coffee.
So they just let him go?
They just let him go. They had nothing on him.
So they've turned up there, they wrongly arrested him and then let him go a few hours later?
The game was incredible. We were playing Cymru at home and we were losing 3-1 and he's on the bench and I was just thinking, fuck me, Carl, what are you doing? Just chuck him on. I know he hadn't turned up and he let himself down and he wasn't training, but he's one of them players. Just put the fucking boy on. He's that good, right? You could go and fish Jordan out of an house party at 8 o'clock in the morning. He'd been out all night. You give him a pair of boots, not even his pair of boots, right? And he'll turn up and he will tear centre halves inside out, right? Yeah. But unfortunately, you get to a certain level where you can't tolerate that, and Carl will tell you that. Jordan will tell you that himself. And he's chucked him on, and instantly they've made changes. They're winning the game 3-1. There's 25 minutes to go. They've made changes, and I've never felt a team retract like that in all my life. They've just started to just fucking go back and
panic.
He's come on, we've scored. He's put an assist in, right? Fuck me, he's just slipped it in. I think it was Tom Davis has scored. He's scored, right? So we've gone 4-3 up. Fucking what a goal, right? He's just stuck it over the keeper. He's gone on the keeper. He's gone off wheel celebration, right? Place has erupted, winning the fucking game. Next thing, I'm taking a goal kick, right? I've gone to the cricket pitch behind, time wasting, so I've jumped over, I've got the ball, so I'm teeing the ball up, right? In the corner of my eye, Jordan's walking off. He's taking his shirt off, thrown it, he's walking off. And I thought Carl's taking him back off, yeah. And I thought, what the fuck are you doing? I thought, Carl's, we're winning the game, right, off you come. As I'm looking like that, there's 3 busies walking across the pitch. I thought, fuck, they come from? And they'd come, taken him, whatever. We'd held on, we'd won the game. He was wrongly arrested. And that was that.
And released a few hours later.
And it wasn't the first time. When we was in the Amateur League, we played blind on the last game of the season, and we'd already won the league, and we were down in... we had to Lido. To cut a long story short, the cricket have our pitch certain time of the year, so the season had gone on and we'd have to play this game against the blind on the borders of Lido's pitch. And it was just at the time with the Cymru football app. And again, he was released, I think he was released the same night that night. He'd done nothing wrong. I think whatever, it might have been a bit of an obsession with him or whatever way you want to call it.
Yeah.
So
accusations thrown and they just...
Rubbish, and they just jump in the deep end because he doesn't help himself. So we've done the warm-up, we've gone in the change rooms, and it was the first season where you register names. So like you could be in Costa Rica now, you look at this app and you know Rodri Morgan's playing in goals, right? So they must have been looking, whatever, they've gone, oh fuck, Jordan's starting. So they've turned up. Carl's given the team talk, alright, it was a bit of a dead-end game. Carl's given the team talk, there's 2 coppers outside the door, right? So Jordan, if you can remember, like when we were in school, the old steel cabinets, the old
lockers,
the old lockers.
Yeah, I know.
Jordan's hiding in the locker. Carl's giving the team talk, holding the door shut, right? Jordan's hiding in there. Carl's changed. You were playing. You starting. We goes out. Lewis is doing the toss in the middle of the pitch. Up he goes. I'm in the goals, hanging my towel. Like, look, Jordan's just walking away with 2 coppers. And he's just a boy who just lives on the edge. As I said, doesn't help himself. What a
player.
What a
I always have to chuck that in. Whenever I hear anything about I always have to kind of close the conversation with, I know, but what a striker.
Unreal. And when I first signed down there, I didn't know him at the time, because obviously Baglan were in the Amateur League. I was playing a lot higher, and everyone had raved about him, and fucking hell, you know, what a talent. And wherever we'd go, Carl will, when I first signed down there, Carl would say, they're obsessed with him. And he'd turn up at a ground, and I'm shit with names, but I'd know so-and-so, and he'd come on to me, I don't know, Jordan playing?
Yeah.
And it'd be like, fucking it, wherever you'd go, and teams would come down to us, and there would be times where we know he's not playing. Yeah, he's in there. He's not you.
Yeah.
You would just tell him that he's playing. Going back to the Abergavenny game on the Friday night when we were up there at Scory over there, and he come off a bench that game and change a game like that, on his head. I think
from a managerial perspective, you see, I think the reason for that is because there's not many strikers like him anymore. No. That
raw ability,
physicality. Obviously, he's just a tremendous footballer. But you know, when I first started coaching in the Welsh League, mainly 2 up front. Yeah. You know, whether that was wing backs or 4-4-2. But it was always one big fucker and a speedy guy. Yeah. And obviously things changed over the years, and what seemed to get sacrificed more than anything was the big guy, the strong guy. So now you had centre-backs became different. I think because he's such a throwback into his physicality as well as his ability.
You put the ball into him, and
you're not used to it. So you have to prepare for him. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm not comparing him, but Lee Trundle's kind of the same. You know, you hit them into their chest, and it just
stays.
And he's so good at it. And then he gets a ball out of his feet, and then he will just go past people like they're not even there. And you get him. To be fair, right, how the fuck Clemo manages him as a striker and me as a goalkeeper.
I was literally going to ask that. How can I end the pitch? He's got a pair of lunatics.
Honest to God, like, the guy, he runs his own business, he's got 2 kids, he's got a wife, and he's got the biggest fuck shot striker and keeper. Like, come on.
Do you know what, as this conversation's going on, I'm thinking I might nominate him for a Knighted or something.
It's incredible. Carl's got quite good. So the first time, so when Jordan doesn't turn up, you get in the change room, you can just feel it, right? Sucks the life out of everybody, right? Gets in the change rooms and Carl's like, right, fuck it, it's gone. Rod's going to play up front. He can do a job.
Oh, we're fine. I'm decent as a 9,
So Carl,
even at this age.
because it's happened so many times, we've got a whiteboard in the change room. Carl started to do, she'll walk in and he'd laugh, and we all know he's not coming. So Carl would just draw an elephant on the board, right?
Yeah,
Dress the elephant in the room. And this elephant looks like a fucking goldfish, right?
I was going to say, you
Horrendous.
must be better than me.
The amount of times Jordan hasn't turned up now. This elephant now is starting to look really, really good. Like, but yeah, it's well, you know, what a talent. He's going to give it another go this year, so he says. Good. And you know, he's one of them players. I remember about 18 months ago, he was last summer. Someone said, "Oh yeah, he's going here. Someone's in for him. So I said, "Carl, what are you going to do?" Carl said, "Let him go." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Can't go anywhere. No one will have him." And I said, no, they will. I said, you know, they offer him £200 a game. And Carl said, "Let me tell you something now," he said. He won't turn up for training once a week, or he won't turn up for a match, and they'll just fuck him off, and he'll be back. Don't worry about it. And he's never gone, but he's a special talent.
Yeah, he sure is.
It's just one of them where
so what's the plan for you now? How much longer are you continuing? Because you're a keeper, you're not that old, so you're
in mid-30s.
Yeah, exactly. Is
36 in 5 weeks. Not interested in vets football. I can't think about things like that yet.
Yeah.
No, I'll play. Baglan will be my last club.
Yeah.
I won't. I don't want to be one of them players that drops down the leagues and then I end up losing things, and you know, that's not for me. But as long as Carl, like I said, me and Carl get on really well. As long as Carl wants me there, I'll stay with Baglan. I'd like to play until I'm 40. My father always said, and it happened back last year, back in October time, a couple of things happened in my life, whatever, and I was drinking more than I should. My father said, I've always been a big drinker. I always love, you know, darts on a Friday, football on Saturday, Super Sunday on a Sunday. I've always been a big drinker. But my father said, "I'll catch up with you, mind. You get to mid-30s and I'll catch up with you." No, because I've been always been hyperactive, on the go. I've never carried a bit of weight. And do you know, the last year, fuck me, has hit me. And I look back at pictures and I was struggling, and not struggling, but like, I felt the change in myself. And certain things happened October, November time last year. And I never forget, we was up on Cymru where we train. And I was going through a bit of a rough time drinking. And one of the boys hit a shot at me in the warm-up, right? In training. It's gone past me before I've even gone down. I felt like I was going down in stages like an old man. And I got home and I sat in the house and I said to Fergs, "Fuck this. It stops now." And the following day, I went home dinner time, put my clothes ready on the dining table, and ever since then, I took up running. I lost a lot of weight, and I feel as fit now as I ever have. I'm as hungry now as I ever have, and I just, barring touch wood, the major injury, I can't see the end.
Good to hear.
I think you said it. I know we talked about it in terms of the vet football and all that stuff. You've got a long time to get there. We always joke about the fact you always like to put the tweet out this time of year that. One more year.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I asked the question, to be honest, because I've seen you do it a couple of times. You sort of go out 1 more year.
But I was in that mindset.
Do you know what? A couple of times in my head, I've gone, is he older than I think he is?
Do you know, I look at it now, right? That Afan Lido side when I was a kid, I played from when I was 6 till I was 16, right? We won absolutely everything, year in, year out. I'm the only player on that side now still playing. I see boys from school now, you know, no one plays. I don't know anybody. The boys I play with now, they're all a lot younger than me. Lewis is a couple of years younger than me. But I just think, and I cherish it now more than I ever have. One of my best mates, Johnny, now, he plays centre midfield for us. He was in there earlier on. Funny enough, he's gone training tonight. It's his first pre-season training, right? All summer, right? He said, "I don't want to play. I'm not interested. I don't want to play." And I'm like, "Are you fucking real? Like, come on, you know, that's..." I replied to that guy's tweet the other day, and for me, football, you work all week for the weekend. Whether that's a Friday night under lights or a Saturday.
I've been having the chats now at the club I'm coaching at the moment. You know, the pre-season's only 6 weeks. Granted, because the season's coming earlier, we're having to start earlier, and I don't like training in June myself, right? But the season's 6 weeks away, right? And we're in like week 2, and I'm like, I still haven't seen about 5 of them. And they're not all, they're just deciding
not to come.
Nah, I'll start in a couple of weeks, and you're like, a day's gonna come where you're like us, and you ain't playing anymore.
Like I said, that
right?
to me November time, mid-season. But like I know, I've kept running all the way through the summer, and I love it. I've been out tonight before we've come here, and it's great, right? But it'll come a time where it'll hit you, and you'll see, and you just think, "Fuck, I'm struggling, and I need to do it." And certain players will.
But good stuff.
So you get to 40 then, if that's the target.
I'll carry on fucking playing.
Were you desire to coach? Not interested, thinking about it?
I'd possibly go into goalkeeper coaching. I'm not interested in management. Would you play for me? Fuck no. I
don't know. Do you know the maddest thing? Was it? I can't remember if it was on or off camera with one of the guys we've had on the first couple of episodes. I've given up trying to predict who's going to be managers, right? I've had players that I've played with and coached that I've gone, they're going to be amazing manager one day. And they either never do it or they have a go and they're a disaster.
Yeah.
And do you know the biggest example of it, right? And this is meant as a massive compliment to the guy. I used to coach Mark Dunford, right, back in when he played for Dennis Powys.
Remember that?
Never in a month of Sundays would I have predicted that Mark Dunford would become a successful manager.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's, frankly, because I think he's a fucking lovely guy. He's like too much of a top bloke, I would have thought, to have been able to do it. Like, but, you know, he's done a tremendous job with, obviously, at Thomas, where he's just said now he's at Pontypridd. He did an excellent job in his first job as well. And people forget that. Do you know what I mean? He's just fair play. But so I've given up trying to predict it.
You get some people and they're destined to be managers and they want to be manager. I'm not interested in it at all. But I will never. I'd like to think I'd never go a Saturday without being involved in some capacity.
I think you're right there from a goalkeeping coach perspective. And I know it's one of the questions we had when it off on Twitter was asking about modern goalkeepers. Now we've spoken about this before. Modern goalkeepers versus the old school bit. You already talked about the stuff with we've talked about on the podcast last week, the goalkeeper knock it short to a centre back who hits it up there. But it's one of the reasons when I stopped coaching 3 years ago, I told Gareth in the February, March, I said, can't do this anymore because we're from the old school way where we'd do a session and it'd be 45 minutes, 50 minutes, hard work. Turn up on a Saturday, you know, when you're doing your routines. You've got your pre-match routine that you do religiously.
Yeah, every Saturday.
And you look at the modern younger player coming through, can't do that 45, 50 minutes, can't do that routine that's repetitive because goalkeeping is repetition.
Yeah. I just, there's a lot of things. Another thing as well, me and Carl clash over all the time. And not so much he's pro for it, but zonal marking. It's not for me. I don't understand it. You ask Liverpool why they lost the Carling Cup final. Zonal marking.
Do you know
the fuck
the
is
thing
that boy
for
marking
me,
Dan Burn for?
Do you know? So my view on that is kind of changed over the years, and I think it's different for the levels that you're playing at. For me, right, the reason you can see goals is not zonal marking. The reason you can see goals is because the person in each zone hasn't done their fucking job. Because the beauty of zonal marking. And I do like a hybrid, so I've got like a half and half job going on, right? But the most effective player in our penalty area for defensive corners, because we were letting them in last season, and I was like, right, let me just take over the dead balls. Let me see if I can get a tune out of it. The most effective player in the team defending dead balls is the guy that we stick it on the 6-yard line in the centre of the goal, now marking, because you don't have to worry about anything else. But there's the ball, go and fucking head it. Now, maybe the zonal marking is supposed to work like that. You know the guy on the post that just stands there holding the post, watching the world go by? He's meant to release off that post and head the ball away. Yeah. But no, I'm stood in my... That's where it falls down. And that is why I think you're probably right for most teams outside of professional football, is because unless you can have every single player in their zone like a starving rat in a sewer wanting to go and head the ball.
Modern day footballers don't
One person just sacks it off, and that's where their head's going to come in.
I'm just old school. For me, man on the front, man on the back, mark your man, tallest man marks the tallest man. Job done. In swinging corner, if he's a right foot and it's in swinging, you have a man on the front and a man in the hole. Simple. The amount of times he hit the fucking man in the hole is incredible, even in Premier League football. But on an outswinger, I can do the man on the post as he's taking it, because it's not going to come in here, it's coming away. He can step and do both, so you can free up a man there. Well, that's always been me, but I know the game's evolved and fucking...
It's the warm-up bit, though, as I was saying, it's the warm-up bit, it's the drills, it's the training, you know, it's the mentality of, I know I'm going to have 45 minutes hard work here. We had it with Chris Galton when he played with us at multiple clubs. Galtz knew that he'd have 45 minutes hard work, because a lot of games we played, maybe only 4 games a season he'd be called upon. But I had him sharp for those 4 games a season.
Good work ethic, though. So let's get to these Twitter questions, because I actually predicted Dean Morris's episode would have the most Twitter, but you've seen yourself. So I vetted them. So sorry everyone, we're not asking them all. Because it was too many.
What about my mate Royston from Gloucester? Who the fuck is that guy? If he's tweeting me calling me an absolute prick, he lives in Gloucester, how does he know me?
The first one was though that you put a post on there, someone that you had a drawing on the weekend for the goalkeeper's arms.
Yeah.
So that's the pub in your garden, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a bit of a lockdown kind of thing. Yeah, we've done a bit of a man cave and named it the goalkeeper's arms.
And Newport City Hate Watch came back with still the biggest prick in the Cymru South, though.
Accurate, yeah, I won't disagree with him. He sounds a nice guy. Yeah.
But it's a good judge for anyone not on Twitter, I'm going to have to tell them what you said. You retweeted it and said absolutely, and you still pay £8 to watch me play.
Yeah, which is great. You know, if I think you're an absolute prick, right, or whatever he's called, well, I won't pay fucking £8 to watch you play football. You know, these people, you know, whatever, he seems to be a little bit obsessed with me and crack on.
So this one's already been answered. You know, somebody, Tom Randall sent in. You know,
yeah, right. So that's
can you ask what his thoughts are on the modern day goalkeeper and the way they're encouraged to dribble the ball out of defence,
right.
please?
So basically,
I assume there's Semi taking the piss there.
Well, so that idiot plays for us.
Yeah. So I
he was playing in Haverfordwest last week when my head and my legs didn't work, and he kind of thought it was kind of funny. So he's taking it.
Well, he was right. It is funny.
Yeah.
So right, you've answered that one. It's about penalties.
Yeah.
Something about an onion. That's one of your teammates as well. I think.
Yeah. He's the fucking onion.
So best moment from your playing career. You've already mentioned. Worst goal conceded.
Worst goal conceded, easy. Newport Civil Service away. Do you remember Newport Civil Service?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do.
So wherever that is in Newport, I'm not too sure, but it was next to a 3G pitch they used to play. Yeah. And if you remember, they had a stand which was like an old shipping container and it was cut out, right? Yeah. So at the time, I was playing for the Scout. Chillo was the manager or whatever, and we goes up there on the minibus, big swig. On the way home, we prided ourselves on that, same as we do in Baglan now. So we're on the bus and we're playing cards, whatever. I'd been out on a Friday night, so I used to play darts every Friday. And then, you know, it used to be an heavy one, and then on a Saturday, Chillo used to be like, how many do you have last night? What time to get in? And all this nonsense. So he goes, I'm fucking hanging, right? I'm dying. So he gets up there, so in the warm-up, he's starting to kick. He used to do the warm-up with me, so he's starting to get a bit like, you know, look at the fucking state in here and all this nonsense. So in the goal mouth between the 6-yard box and the byline, there was like a dip, like that. So he said, use your fucking head with this now. And I was, yeah. I was just thinking, fuck me, just get me off here. I can't wait to have another pint after the game. I ain't gonna fuck, right? Just not even 10 minutes into the game, so they've got a free kick, get to the box, right, 25 yards out. So boys hit the bread and butter, easy, just catch it. I just patted it down. As I patted it down, it's hit the divot. It's gone straight through my legs. I've turned around and dived on it. Goal. Right, referee's gone goal. Right. That's all I can see in the corner of my eye is, you know, like the 12, the carrier of all the water bottles. Just boosh. Chillo's fucking smashed him there and he's screaming, I fucking told him it would happen. And I'm there just thinking, get me the fuck out of here. Like,
it's for another day, but we got some stories from that ground. Jesus
we pulls
Christ.
up on the bus and we all get in the ground, and there's a guy, big fella, 4 or 5 of them in the stand, this like shipping container, they've been cut out. And there's a guy here, and as they gets a ball out the net and they just boots it up the field, this guy starts singing, and you should have left the keeper on the bus. I'm thinking, fuck me. We come back, we've won the game, and all the way home on the bus, that's all everybody sang, you know. And like I said to you earlier on, I'm not, like, them things, they are preventable. That should never have happened. But you're kind of glad it does happen, because you learn from them things.
Yeah,
you know?
like it'll come up at some point, but we got some stories from up at Newport Civil Service. Because I mean, when we were at Lambourne,
are they still going?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I could.
Kent County,
I think I got a funny feeling that it might be renamed or something, but I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we were at Lambourne, we had some experiences up there, because that was a big rivalry.
Yeah.
So we've done the Tang Fastics.
Yeah. They're banned.
So I'm assuming this is someone you must know, right? They said, how do you handle the pressure of being the best goalkeeper in South Wales? This has got to be someone...
Is that my brother said that? No.
Recognise
no,
him?
yeah, I do know the name. Yeah. That's just a bit of a running joke, you know, like we said, when you say about the guy that said, you know, when I said you pay £8 to come and watch me play.
Yeah.
It's kind of you just give that back to me. That, you know, that, and make a save. That's why I'm the best keeper.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, I'm not like I'm confident in my own ability, but I don't believe them things. Yeah. But you know, if you say them things to certain people, it to wind them up.
Yeah.
And people get wound up about it, and I think, fuck me, mate, you know. And I'm quite good at winding people up. I'll tell you,
you've got to back yourself in life, not just in football as well. Though, do you know what I mean?
Of course you have. And I'll tell you a story about winding people up, and I'm quite good at it. There was our first game in the Cymru South. We were playing Pontardawe away over in Pontardawe on the leisure centre up the top. And their manager, very, very angry manager, big fan of mine. Quite an angry guy.
Is this Gary we're talking about?
I'm not too sure.
Gary Taylor's come up 2 episodes in a row.
I'm not too sure, but if you trust the process, right, I'm not too sure of the name. Anyway, I said I wouldn't name names. So
I'm just going to warn you, Gary's coming on later in the series, so don't go in too hard.
He'll probably speak quite highly of me as well. But anyway, he had a bit of an obsession with me, and I don't really understand why. And all summer he's tried to pinch my goalkeeper coach to go down the Lido.
Right.
He gets on with Adrian, but Adrian didn't want to know. So I must be doing something right. So we were playing Pontardawe away, and we win him, I think it was 1-0 or whatever the score was, and the second half I saves a penalty. First game in the Cymru South, saves a pen. My brother was there with his 2 nephews, brought them to watch. It was a great, it meant a lot to me. So the game goes on. So they've had, so the boy has hit the ball. I don't know whether he's trying to catch me off the line. So the ball's gone over me. So as I'm going back, I tried to claw it out to the fucking net. Me, Johnny Davis, and one of their players, the 3 of us, and the post. Smash, right? I'm fucking on. I thought I popped my shoulder, right? So I'm on the floor. Have you ever seen Cool Runnings?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite films. Yeah.
When they flip the sledge, and they're all like, and he's like, Sanga, you're dead, man, right? So I'm lying on the floor. I could just hear someone speaking. So I was like, who the fuck's that? And Johnny goes, it's me, Johnny. So he's underneath me, right? So this is fucking brilliant. They got another player. So our physio, their physio comes on. She's like, fucking feeling my neck. Are you all right? You all right? I'm like, yeah, fuck. I'm starting to come round a bit now. My arm's killing. So I gets up. He gets up. He's fine. So I think the referee gave like a free kick. I think they player might have tried to wipe me out. So he's given a free kick, but almost on the 6-yard box. So it's a goal kick, right? Now, there's minutes left. We're holding on here. This is our first game in the Cymru South. We're going to win this fucking game, right? So I'm delaying the game. So the referee's like, get on with the game. So I know there's a ball. I can see the ball behind me. By you. So obviously I just blind eye. So it's like, referee, ball. So this very angry manager now, right, just passes the ball on from the dugout. Lovely technique, mate. The ball... he used to be a half-decent player, apparently. So the ball has come... He was. Yeah. So I've stepped onto this ball now. So, sorry, as I can see the ball come in. So in the meantime, I've just picked this ball up. I've gone, referees, 2 fucking balls in the field. What's going on, yeah? So I got this ball underneath my hand, right? I've hit this fucking... stood onto this, right? I've hit it better than I've hit anything in my fucking life, right? This angry man is in the dugout, right, with the coaching staff, and they're there. And he's like, it's just fucking gone. Over the cabin. Gone, right? Gone. He's gone in the river. He's screaming, you fucking prick, you owe me 50 quid the match ball, right? So I put this ball down, I teed it up, we've held on, we've won the game. After the game, he wouldn't speak to me, and it was fucking murders. And we've had a bit of rivalry since then, and I never forget last season when we played Pontardawe at home and they'd already been relegated. And fair play, they give it a good fist. It's a good club, right? And
yeah, it is. Always has been.
They were a bit unlucky, possibly that year to go down.
Yeah.
And Carl said in the changing rooms before the game, he said, "Look, just be mindful, you know, be respectful." And I get what he's saying, you know.
Yeah, he's right.
At the end of the day, they were right. You don't want to rub someone's nose in it, right?
No.
So we were losing the game. I've gone up, I think it was 2-1, so I've gone up for a corner last minute. So Gary's shouting at me, don't be a fucking prick or whatever. So I've gone up now for this corner, right? Last kick of the game, corner's come in. It's gone over the top of me. One of the boys has hit there. Handball. It's a penalty, right? We got a penalty. So I'm running around the box. I said, give me the ball, give me the ball. I'm fucking taking it. I'm taking it. And so all that's going through my head. And he is right. And I, you know, if I'd have settled down, I would never have taken it. But I was like, I can't take this pen. So Tom Davis has picked the ball up. Yeah. And I've gone, let me take a fucking pen. I should be taking this pen, he said, but if you want to take it, you'll take it. Now, Tom had been out the night before and he was fucking hanging in the morning. So I just said, yeah, you're right, just take the pen. He's taken it, he's hit it over the bar, it's gone to Britain Ferry fucking McDonald's. He's lost the game. I was like, you know, but there's no malice in here with him, you know. He seems a nice guy, but he's just not a fan of mine. Like. But you get them people across football, guy, don't you? You know, we never got on when we played.
100%.
I used to go to games. I'm going to try and get him. I'm going to get him this time. I'm going to get him. And in fairness, we talked about it last week. One guy who I could always get in someone's head, I could never get in yours. Ever.
We know the secret now, though. We should have just bought a load of fucking
Haribos and gone, there's the Lucas Aiders and Haribos. Came on.
So there's a couple left, right? If you had hair, what haircut would you choose?
Oh, it's got to be the old, with the man, you know, with a comb back, like, you know...
like all swept back, like with a bit of brill cream or
ginger highlights,
or would you go blonde?
No, to be fair, I can't remember the last time I had an haircut. All right, I shaved my head, but I've been bald for the last 10 years. Yeah.
Right, there's we got there. I think we're coming to the end of them. Favourite Cymru League team other than Baglan?
Probably would have been Goytre until they went down. You know, there's good clubs in the Cymru South. I think Goytre would be my other second club. And
there's one more I'll ask you because a couple of people sent us something wanting to hear about Mark Hazelwood. We're not doing that.
You know what? I tell you a story about Mark. Right?
I don't know any background to this, right?
I don't really know.
I imagined there's like some malice in them asking that question.
I don't really know the guy. All I know he's fucking hated. He is Champions League, right?
Really?
Fuck, everywhere you go, and no one likes him. You see it all over Twitter, right? I've never really had any dealings with him, right?
Do you know what? That has passed me by. I wasn't aware of that.
We played them at home last game of the season this year, and we were in the dugout, in the changing rooms. Referee's blown the whistle. So Lewis Holmes has always got this thing. He does my fucking head. So I've always got to be captain walks out, and I'll walk out behind him, right? Yeah. But Lewis has always, as soon as they blow the whistle, he's got to have a piss, and then the doors open, and the referee's like, "Come on!" I'm like, "Just got to wait for Lewis." Like, you know, he knows what he's doing. So we're standing there now. Hazelwood walks out, right, and I can't remember the referee. And the referee's at the ball, and the line's on his side, and he just looks at him, and just, you know. And I said to the referee, it's probably the first time in my life I've come across someone in a game that's hated more than me. and he is fucking, I think the Carmarthen fans, whatever. Mark's never done anything to me, you know. He's always coached at a higher level, and I've played that. I don't really have an issue with him, but I think there's a lot more behind it than that. Did you see the top 3 of the most hated people? Someone commented the other day and said, who's the most 3 hated people in Welsh football? Hazelwood was 1, I was 2, and Gary Taylor, hashtag trust the process, was number 3. So I'm in good company there, you know?
All this passes me by, see? It must
me by.
It must be a down west, as we call it in Cardiff, because honestly, I don't think I've ever heard any of that in Cardiff. So, but there was one more fairly serious, or you know, not serious, but like sensible question. So, 3 most overrated players in the Cymru South.
I can't answer that because I'm still playing.
You can say yourself if you want, and then the 3 most underrated.
Underrated.
Do you know what?
I didn't see that.
Do you know what? Let's not insult someone with overrated. Let's just go with the underrated. It's a lot nicer.
Underrated. Fuck, if I'd have seen that, I could have had to think about that. It's quite hard on the spot. But there's a boy playing with us now, and the boys will probably laugh watching this back. He's one of my best mates. Yeah. Johnny Davis, who plays centre mid for us. He plays number 6 in the all. The boy hasn't got an ounce of confidence in himself at all. He's probably one of the best players breaking up the play. He does the job and nobody else wants to do. Right.
Which is an important job.
So underrated, and him and Carl clash, you know. Carl shouts in this and that, but like, Johnny won't answer back. That's just the type of person that he is. But I think at the back end of last season, Carl said when we played down Lantic Major in the change rooms, he said to Johnny, "Do you understand how good you are in the position that you play in?" And Johnny's there and he's just like biting his nails and stuff. He doesn't get in. For me, you know, first name on the team sheet, Lewis Holmes. Second would be Johnny Davis. Yeah. And if I had to come and play for you, who do you want to bring? 2 players? It'd be Lewis and Johnny. He's so underrated. There's loads of players out there that are underrated. I just can't think. Overrated, I've got to be careful. You know,
don't go.
I can't do saying that.
You'll end up playing 50-50 with them on Saturday.
Yeah.
2-footers coming into your careers. So we're back with a fresh drink.
Yeah.
you've got a couple of stories to share with us, and then we're going to knock it on the head. But apparently, we're finishing strong here. Is that right? These couple of stories.
Yeah, possibly. Clemo wouldn't thank me for that. But what do you want to know?
Rod?
I think the key ones, I suppose, is probably your best red card. Should we say?
You say you like my best red card as if I've had loads. Yeah,
Probably have. Yeah, you have. You've definitely mentioned at least 6 tonight.
Yeah, I've had a few.
That's up there with my record as a manager.
Not for the last 2 years, mind, but I've had a few. But my best one, it's a bad one, mind. And it fucking nearly cost me my relationship with Carl, nearly cost me with Baglan. And if it had happened, I would have never played again. But we played up in Cardiff Drax on a Friday night. Have you been to that ground? Yeah.
I played for Drax.
I don't get how it was allowed. It was in the Ardal League, but they dragged us up on a Friday when towards the start of the season when you had the light. So it would have been a 6
6 on a Tuesday.
Centre of Cardiff, right?
I agree.
We were wrong, right?
We used to go mental back in the day, right, about being like away from home at AFC Porth 6:15 kickoff.
Wrong.
You ever tried to get at the A470 in the rush hour?
I totally agree.
It's absolute madness.
But I don't blame clubs for trying it because it is an advantage.
Yeah,
but it just shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't be taken
out of there.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
But whatever. So we're up there on a Friday night and we were struggling for a side, and then everyone's like, I can't make it. I'm going to go straight. I'm going to meet you there and all this nonsense.
Right.
So we goes up there. We win in 1-0 in the first half. We're playing some fucking great football. It's boiling hot, right? Everything was going swimmingly well. So they had a corner in the second half, and there's like a high-rise flats alongside.
Yeah.
So from corner flag to corner flag, it was just full of people, locals, you know. Loads of people there, people cans, whatever, abuse, you know the score, right? Great, I love it. So they had a corner, and I don't know why, but the boy was in my head. I forget his name. I think the boy McLean is it for Kyrie?
Oh, Tom McLean.
Oh,
yeah.
Tom McLean. Yeah.
I've seen him since, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, it is what it is, right? So the corner's coming in, so I've got my hands in the air. And he's in my face, right? And he's just going, keeper, keeper, keeper. Now, probably everybody in the fucking Cymru South this season's going to do the same thing now, aren't they, right? So and I got my hands, and he's just going, keeper, keeper, and I don't know what happened. So just for the ball coming in, bang! And he's just gone down like a sack of shit, right? I have caught him, but not as clean as thing, right? Whatever, he's gone down. I turned to look like that. Chris Ames is the referee, right? Do you know Chris, bald head?
Let's move on.
Yeah. I get on with Chris off the field, but I know he's not well liked anyway. So
he's going to come up in an episode one day, but we'll leave it for now.
Story for another day. So as I've just turned and looked, and Chris is looking straight at me, and he just, the score. He 1-0 up now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Out it comes. He's gone, right? Straight red. So Johnny now, my mate, is centre midfielder. He used to be a keeper back in the day, so he's the only person we've got here with a little bit of experience. So Johnny's gone in goals as a penalty, right? So I've gone off the sidelines and they are fucking hounding me.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
I was thinking, fuck, we hadn't taken many people with us. It was their dugout first, our dugout second. I'm down here, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to my head smashed in, right? And it's been coming for a couple of years, right? So I'm thinking, fuck, we got no sub-keeper top, so he takes the top off, gives it to him, he puts it on, right, putting the gloves on. So I'm trying to give him a bit of advice which way to go now. He tells him to go that way, in the end, the boy slots it the other way, right, 1-1. I think it was another pen, so we lose as a game, right?
Right.
So I goes in the change rooms and I could just fucking feel Carl walking in, right? And I thought, fuck, here we go. He comes in, he goes absolutely mental. And he had every right to, right? I don't know what I was doing, right? It's just stupid, right? So he's screaming at me now, you're a fucking idiot, you'll never play for me again, they're a bunch of fucking kids. And every time he's throwing one in, I goes, cut. And Tom Randall, plays for us, English fella. His English accent stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
He's sitting next to me, and every time I'm going, he's just like, Stance, just leave it. And he's like, they're a bunch of fucking kids. You've cost us a game. You'll never fucking play for me again. And you ain't coming on the bus. Find your own way home. So I'm like, right. I get in the shower now. So it comes out. And then everyone's picking the stuff up, and he looks at me, he says, I'm fucking warning you ain't coming on that bus. So I get out now, I don't know where it is, Gabalfa, or wherever it is in Cardiff. So I'm thinking, fuck me, how do I get home from here? Right? So lucky Luke Rees was there. So Luke was like, just come with me. So I've gone to walk to the car, Carl's screaming at Luke, you dare take him home, and you can fuck off too. So I get in the back of the car, and we're driving home down the motorway, and I'm loose of leather seats, and I'm just slumped in the back thinking, fuck, I've done it. Big time, right? So that's it, 3-game ban. So we can't, this was in the Ardal League, so we couldn't sign a keeper at the time. So Johnny's got to play in goals for 3 games. So I left it a couple of days, went for a coffee with Carl and smoothed it over, trained, and get back in the side. So so the 3 weeks are up, so we play Treharris away. Now, we have a minibus to every game, right? We've got, we have stop-offs, it's ritual of ours. Wherever we play, apart from like Afan Lido, you can't do that. We have a stop-off on the way home, we have a photo, great, right? It looks good, right? The boys is great, it's a great environment.
Why not at Lido?
Because it's too close. You can't fucking stop.
I'm being a bit mischievous there. When I was at Aberhaman, right, we used to get a bus to every away game. Di Morgan's manager. We used to spend a lot of money on players and buses and stuff like that. We draw Cymru in the cup, Cymru Institute. It's about a mile from Aberdare's ground. We got a bus. The abuse we got.
I can imagine.
Rocking up.
I can imagine. So we go. So we're on the bus now, and I never forget. We're on the 4. So we goes to obviously you know where Treharris is. That's Strudmanach up that way. So it goes down the M4, gets off at Corridon, turns left. So I never forget. We're on just passing Taff Swell. So wherever we go on the bus, Carl drives. I sit by the window, Goytre, and the 2 kids sit in between me. Clemo's son, Nico, and English Tom's son, Tommy. So they always sit at the bus. Wherever we go, I've just got to sit there, and then Ben always sit there. Me and Carl haven't said a word now, right, on the way to Treharris, because it's still a bit frosty, right?
Right.
No other keeper there. I'm playing today, yeah? Right? I've got to play. I've trained twice for the last 3 weeks, so I'm playing. So he turns up at Treharris. It was in Taff Park, is it the new one? In Bargoed?
The new one, yes.
So he turns up, goes in the change room. So Carl turns around and he says, the boys, go out, check the pitch, whatever. I'm not really one of them. It's fucking grass, right? It's never going to change, right? So they put in the kit out now. So Carl's in the changing rooms. So I goes in the little cubicle now to put my contact lenses in. So I got my glasses above my head. So I put my contacts in. So Carl comes in. He said, Math. I turned around. Math? He never calls me Math. Never, right? I said, what? He says, I'm going to start you on the bench. I said, you what? He said, you're on the bench. Problem with that? I said, you fucking serious? I said, I've come to Treharris on the bus. You're telling me I'm on the bench. Who's playing in goals, Carl? He went, Johnny. I said, Carl, Johnny's a centre midfielder, mind, right? And he's not playing in goals. Now, Johnny's one of my best mates. If he knew he was playing in goals, he would have told me. So Johnny hasn't got a clue. So he's assuming he's in the middle, right? And I'm assuming that I'm in goals. I said, no chance. You're on a fucking laugh. He says, not happening. No way. He went, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going. Fuck this, right? I get my kit bag, takes my kit off the hook, right?
You're digging the hole deeper, yeah?
I turns around and I says, no, Carl. I said, fuck it. I'll get a train home. I'm going, right? And he'll tell you this is the gospel too. So I'm gone. So I gets out the changes, puts my bag on. They're all walking back in. I'm walking through the car park. I get a train home. I get onto the terrace street. I'm thinking, fuck's a train station.
I was just going to say,
how am I getting
I'm
home
pretty
so
sure
long?
there's no direct train Treharris to fucking Baglan.
So how am I getting home from here, right? So I thought, fucking hell, tucks it in, tail between the legs. Then he goes out to warm up. I goes back in, and I goes in, and Carl's like, what are you going to do then? No train, is it? And I was like, I don't know, Carl. I said, but I'm not going on the bench. I said, you are there. He says to me now, he said, he's one of your best mates. Get out there and fucking help that boy, right? So I was like, fuck's sake. So whatever, puts a kit on, training kit, goes out, warms Johnny up, teams come out. So I forget who told me, one of the boys said, you better take your kit on the dugout just in case something happens. So the game starts, it's 0-0, whatever, so I'm on the dugout, I'm just sitting there, face like a smacked ass, stinking the place out, right? I'm tamping, it's all my fault, right? But so I'm sitting there now. Luke Evans plays centre midfield for us, bit of a superstar, bit of a spice boy, catalogue boy, right? He's one of them players, right? What a footballer, but he's one of, and he's made of glass. I'm sitting there, Ross Parfitt sitting next to me. I could just see it coming, right? Looking straight across the pitch. That side of the sky is black. Yeah. That side is sunny, right? There's a storm coming down. And Luke's one of them players, he won't fancy us, right? All of a sudden, Luke goes down injured. Carl turns around and he says, warm up. I said, no, warming up. I said, you're having a fucking laugh. He said, no, warm up. He said, you're going on. I said, no fucking going on, Carl. I said, not a centre midfielder. He said, no. He said, go warm up now. I said, no, it's not happening. So he's sitting there, right? Luke sits down now, as they do, turns to the bench and he goes off. Ross is a centre half. I think we had a kid on the bench and me. Carl says, get your kit on. You're going in goals. I said, I ain't. He said, you are. So I said, what are you going to do? He said, Johnny's coming in the centre midfield. Luke's coming off. You're going on for Luke and you're going in there, right? So I get stressed, right? I'm fucking tamping. So the linesman comes up. The linesman says to me, name? I said, Stanton. He said, number? said, number 1. So at the time, we'd have been more organised now, but we just had 2 number 1 jerseys. But obviously on the app, you've got to have 13, 14, right? So they must have put me down or say on the app it's 13, but I got number 1 on. So the linesman turns out, I'm bouncing at this time. So I says, yeah, number 1. He said, you can't be number 1. He said, he's number 1. I said, no, mate. I said, I'm number 1. I'm going on. He's coming off, and he's going in the centre midfield, and Luke is coming off. The linesman said, well, what number is he going to be? I said, well, he's going to put the 16 on, and he's going in the centre. So the linesman couldn't get it, right? So I said, listen, mate, I said, right, it's
really complicated.
This is what's fucking happening, right? So Johnny comes off, he strips off the goalkeeper kit, puts the outfield kit on, goes in the middle. I comes on as a sub-keeper, right? So I'm running on now. We're defending a free kick over there. So I'm running into goal, obviously. There's 5 or 6 blokes behind the goal, and this is a gospel. The guy turns around and shouts, test him! He's not the keeper! Oh, my head went. I said, I am the fucking keeper! He isn't the keeper! Oh, my head went. First thing I did, took a ball out of the net, losing 1-0. I thought, this is it. I'm fucking absolutely done.
This is the retirement game.
Yeah, done. Josh Williams scores a penalty, last kick of the game, he draws 1-1. And I, on the way home, you can laugh about it now, but fucking hell, what a shambles. But it's all my fault, you know. I
was going to say, you brought it on yourself. It's big balls from Carl there, mind.
Yeah,
it's
massive.
a big call.
Yeah, it is, yeah, but you know.
Because that can blow up in your face.
Of course it can, yeah, you know, we could have lost that game and at the end of the season it could have cost us, but Carl's always been one of them where no one's bigger than the club.
Yeah,
you know, as big as a character I was and a senior player,
100%.
it was all my fault.
You know what? It's how it should be, and it's like it's where some clubs are starting to fall now. Is player power, and just
and he will do it. Carl will do it. You know, he's done it with Jordan. He's done it with myself. Carl, that's the way he should be.
I think big question with that, I suppose, is probably the relationship with Carl. Would you have sat on the bench if it wasn't Carl? If it was somebody else?
No, I would have gone.
Now, that's what I mean. I think you would. You would have gone, and that's the difference. Is the respect you obviously got. The respect you got for him, although you were absolutely raging.
Yeah.
You would not. You'd have gone. You'd still be walking down the A470 now.
We say you still wouldn't be home.
Clemo he probably is my best mate. We speak every day, 2-3 times a day. You know, about certain things off the field of Baglan, on the field, this, that, whatever. You know, if I got a problem at home, if I got whatever, I always speak to Carl. And that's the way it is. But I would have just been fucking gone. You know?
So, brilliant.
There we are. That's that.
Right. So to wrap up the conversation, scored 2 goals last season. Then
have you mentioned it?
There's kind of wild stories, to be honest, because I've never tried to score before. I've never, we've all gone up for corners late on. You know, maybe I've never gone near one. Made it back.
I've never gone near one.
But it was. Do you know? Interesting fact. You wouldn't know this, right? At 15, he was county 200-meter champion.
I'm not saying that I got
We've got photos.
I was fast as fuck. Just take the S away now. Just take the S away now and go where we are,
But so we played Lantwit away, and I'm sure it was, I pointed out he was our first away game. It was like our second away game. We played down Lantwit Major. And you played on Lantwit?
Yeah,
it's quite in
there as well.
It's quite in the open. It can be quite wind ripping through, whatever. It's nothing to do with the wind.
Windmill lane.
At all.
Yeah.
It was, I meant everything I did. But, so they had a keeper, Sam Godwin. He signed for us, actually, last season. And he's a good guy, Sam, great keeper. So we were winning the game 3-1 at the time. Ryan Morgan, our right back, had gone down injured edge of the box. So we talk about modern day football, they had this absolute donkey in charge of them. I don't know who the fuck this guy was, right? But talk about man management skills, right? He didn't have fucking any. So
When's this now? Is
last season? Not the season that's just finished, the season before.
I can't claim to know who that is.
I don't even know the guy.
So I can't,
the way he spoke to me after the game.
For him because I can't think who it is.
The way he spoke to me after the game, and they sacked him the week later, so that says it all.
Right.
But so we went in a game 3-1 anyway. We had a free kick edge of the box. Now they were trying to play a high line, sweeper, keeper, all this nonsense, everything that I wouldn't fucking do, right? But I could just
hold on. Is this the manager that came from Ely Rangers? Is that the guy?
Yes.
He'd done really well at Ely. Right, okay. I think I know who you're talking about. I can't place his name.
Tall fella. Anyway,
that's
whatever.
Right.
But the way he spoke to me after the game, lost all respect. But so
Lovely.
Ryan's sitting on the floor with a free kick, and I just noticed Sam is absolutely fucking miles off his line. Now I can ping a ball. My distribution is long, is pretty good, right? So I just thought, fucking look at that. So I've come, if you see the video, right, I've come trotting out to my goal. So the referee, Ryan's going to get up. So I said to the referee, can I take it? He went, yes. The referee stepped back. I just fucking banged this ball, right? It's gone over everybody. You watch on the video, it's gone over everybody. It's bounced. And when it's bounced, it's picked up again.
Yeah, the wind.
It's gone over him, right? It's gone in the back of the fucking net. I'm running off celebrating. I scored a fucking goal, right? Unbelievable. Landed, right? 4-1 up. So we're defending a corner now. The referee stops the game. They're taking him off. Sam. It's 4-1, 5 minutes ago, they're taking the goalkeeper off. So I said to the striker, I said, fuck's going on here? He said, oh, he's taking him off. I said, why? Why would you do that? Like, I felt bad for it. Goalkeepers union, Rod, right? It's not something that's happened to me. You know, these things do happen. It is a freak, right? It's probably not Sam's fault. He's told to be that high. I've spontaneous seen it, gone for it, job done, right? He's taking him off. You're hanging a boy out to dry there. Right, man management. When, you know, Dean touched upon it last week about the badge brigade and stuff, right? That is horrific management. Yeah. I never forget, we talk about a manager, I'm not going to name the club or the person, we clashed, we don't get on. I never forget a time where he dropped the club captain, right? Now, Carl has always, apart from that time up in Treharris where he wanted to make an example of me, if Carl's going to drop you for whatever reason, right, he will tell you on the Friday on the phone, on the Saturday when you turn up at the club, right, this manager dropped the club captain, and you know, when you sit in the changing rooms, he's playing. Like I know, I sit in Baglan changing rooms, Lewis Holmes is playing. Simple as. Yeah. Right? Drops the club captain, everybody then looks at the captain. Right, okay. And he hasn't got a fucking clue. Oh, that's the first time. Right, and I'm thinking, wow, like, that's horrific man management, right? And I'll never forget, it was against Albion Rovers, just off the M4 by the tunnels. Oh, by Newport. By Kylie on. Yeah, right? I know. And I just thought, that's just horrific man management, right? And this guy done the same to Sam. And when so he takes him off. I takes the goal kick. There's a kid behind the goal and says, another keeper scored today. I said, did he? Who? Oh, Scott Coughlin, he said, for Llanelli. I said, Nate, no. I'm thinking, you fucking having me on. I scored a goal today, and Scott Coughlin's fucking done the same thing, right? Yeah. And as it happens that week, you know, they do the leagues, the team of the week. Me and Scott were the strikers. Oh, we were? Yeah, we were the 9 and the 10, right? Which was great, and we exchanged messages, right, and whatever. When we walked off, I said to the manager, I said, why did you take him off? I said, it's embarrassing enough as it is, right? It's a freak, it happens. I said, hang him out to dry like that in front of people. He says, absolutely disgusting. He pushed me in the chest. He said, I'm the fucking manager, not you. Week later, you sacked.
Do you know, right, saying that, I played when I was playing one club, when I was come back from injury, I was on a bench, we played a game, we were 6-0 down, right? And they went, put your gloves on. I said, fuck off. No. They went, no, go on. 7-0. Yeah. Go on, you're going on. Last 10 minutes. I said, no,
Cheers, thanks very much.
I'm not going on. I said, no. I'm not fit.
Yeah.
No, not doing it. And he was like, no, not doing it.
Yeah. And the second goal came in the winter time. We played Ammanford away. And they had great banter with Ammanford. They got some good fans. As much as
they always have.
Ian Parfitt, you know, whatever. He's quite vocal, you know, but never any trouble. It's good banter. Richie Phillips is the same, right? Great, and we played down there on a Friday night. There was the time where me and Lewis had the old the wrestling match, whatever. I won on points, and then so the second half, I think it was 1-1. The ball's come over the top, so I've come running out to the edge of my box, and you know, as a keeper, momentum coming forward. If I catch this ball, I'm going to fall out of my area, right? So it's not that high. It's just like you. So I've come, punched the ball. Because momentum is me out. The striker, I'm not sure a striker, whatever player he was, has turned to kick the ball. And he's kicked me straight to my knees. It did hurt. Did I need to stay down? Oh, possibly, I don't know, right? But I've stayed down. It's a free kick all day long, right? The boy has fallen into the centre midfield. He's chested it down, had a touch, bang, flicked in empty net, 2-1, right? Lewis Holmes got mental. Said to the referee, so our favourite referee from Haverfordwest, I'm not naming names. The 4 bookings I had last year were all from him. So it's gone in. So Lewis has gone mental, and he said, like, if there's any other goalkeeper in world football, that's a free kick. Yeah. But because it's him, And,
Right.
and I know it's him. You've just let that go, right?
Right.
So we're losing 2-1.
Yeah.
It's pissing down, right? There's minutes to go. So he has a free kick in front of the dugout on the left-hand side. So I've gone to take it. So as I've gone to take it, I just thought, so they had their line on the edge of the 18-yard box. So I just thought, split the keepers on the 6-yard box, just split the keeper, penalty spot, just put it in that area. So as I'm teeing it up, they dug out to give me shit. Oh, you bald fucker, you cost your team the game, you fat bastard. I was carrying a bit of weight at the time. You've cost your team the game, all this nonsense. I'm taking pelters. But yeah, I can't say nothing because we're 2-1 down. I have, right? So I thought, fuck it, I'll just float it in that area now. Tom Randall has just fucking smacked someone in the dugout. It's all going off. Referee's blowing it, pulling them all apart. And I'm just thinking, just get me out there. I'm just going to make it in here. Keep a comfort. Job done. We're out there. We've lost 2-1. It's my fault. I banged it. It's gone over everybody. It was soaking wet. It's bounced, skimmed up.
Like a skidder.
Keeper's gone back. I don't know how. It's gone in the fucking top corner. Right? I turned round to the dugout. I'm running away, going, I'm screaming at Clevo, right? Carl! I've done it again, Carl! Right? I'm running back in the goal. It's 2-2, right? Fucking hell. Like 2 minutes later, they blows up, and that's it. And I've scored again. My social media went absolutely fucking mental. I scored 2 goals in a season, like...
Yeah.
What a feeling. And
I don't think I've ever heard of it before.
No, I didn't.
And the amazing thing, like, none of them are like last-minute headers from corners
or a tap-in, or like Jimmy Glass back in the day for Carlisle.
Like that.
The first one, I'll be honest with you, the first one I meant he was miles off his line. Yeah. The second one was just stick it in an
just
area.
Put it into an area.
It's in that area that we talk about a lot of time, that no man's land, if the keeper's not aggressive and comes forward.
And then if it bounces, you're in trouble.
And when it's wet, it's skidded and it's come up, and I felt sorry for the keeper. He's a good guy, great keeper. But it's just one of them, and it's gone in, and I've just thought, fuck. And I will be honest, a couple of times towards the end of the season, I did try it again, and it's like, fuck it. Scored 3 goals in the season.
Come on, you can't take the piss now.
No. But
listen, we're going to have to wrap it up, because I'm just aware that, like, the barmaid's sweeping up out there, she's going to go home, but really appreciate you having us down here, and it's been great, and we'll come back when the retirement actually happens, so I hope that's a long time.
It'll be a long time, and I heard that you've got one of my big mates on next in the next. I won't say too much. You just give him my regards, and
but he's got the right to reply now.
You just tell him that I made his managerial career.
Thank you very much, top man.
No problem.
So,
nice
thank
one.
you.